applicable for life, and for these young women. Like, as you think about, you got to ask the hard questions. You don't want to, but you do.
Yeah,
it's like when you're interviewing for a job and you need to ask, okay, what happens if I get fired? What's the severance look like? You don't want to ask that shit because you're like, I'm trying to get the job, not find out like what happens when I leave. But if you don't ask it then, and it happens, you're like, shit, I have no idea, right? You're screwed. So
exactly. Yeah.
Life lessons.
And it's tough. It's tough to think through all the various scenarios so early, especially if it's your first venture. But attorneys get an opinion from a variety of attorneys, more than one. And I think if that's an option to kind of help guide that process, and attorneys can always kind of suggest what things should be in the operating agreement, and what terms need to be in there. So, yeah.
Okay, so how did Deb the artist, amazing artist, I just want to say everybody needs to check out theboldrose.com because she's got this unbelievable art that she created herself, and she's a freak of nature about like her creativity. It's amazing. But how did the artist jump to the business and running? Like, what's the connection there?
Oh, so I I think I'd always had passion for fitness, and I didn't realize how much I loved business actually until I just followed my passion and ended up doing a business. I mean, I loved fitness and loved running especially. And the art thing, I think I had a good kind of about 10-year career doing that. And I wanted more control over my life. And I think that that's what led me to kind of do something a little bit more, I guess you could say, practical. So yeah, so what I love about the fitness business is it's a clean transaction. You get paid for your time, for your service, and there's a value on that. With art, it's a little different. It's very arbitrary. The value is arbitrary, and there's not a lot of control over your income. So the art as a business, love art. Did not love art as a business. Love fitness as a business as well. So I think, I could wrap my head around the business aspect of fitness. And I had an incredible trajectory in fitness early on as soon as I decided to go in that direction. And I actually never looked back until recently.
I know, until recently. And now you're going back to the art. You're coming like full circle. And so let's hear a little bit about that because it's so interesting, the Bold Rose, and like how you came to that, right? Like how did you, it's interesting though, you have all these different facets. You're a very interesting and amazing, incredibly intriguing woman. So, and very humble, I might add, which is also very endearing. Yeah, just so you know, listeners, so I met Deb in class. She was one of my students at NYU, and she basically, the day everybody like introduced who they are and everything, and she's like, yeah, I started this running club, in New York, like so like basically like under the radar, and then you come to find out like, she like started this like major thing, and she's just sitting there like, okay, like, so you're just so cute, so sweet. Anyway, so how did you decide to do the Bold Rose? Let's hear about that.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Well, first of all, the class was amazing. And, I honestly attribute my kind of confidence I have to pursue this from what I learned from you, Jeannie. I learned so much. I mean, really, it was great. And, I felt like it was one of those turning points too, where like it opened up a whole new world and, e-commerce. And, I am passionate about business, and you kind of encouraged me to shift my mindset a little bit too, based on, what I thought and previously about, what I should be pursuing. And I honestly worked through a couple different models because I knew I wanted to do something potentially online. But I feel like now that I have business skills and I have the confidence to kind of go back to the works that I enjoyed making and the works that I actually sold as an artist, and kind of apply my business skills and the untapped potential to explore kind of different markets than I had pursued at the time. So I was only in the art market, which is very sort of, high end, thousands of dollars per piece and that kind of thing. So, and I had always thought, well, these would be great if I could sell them as home decor or whatever, but that was kind of taboo and considered in the art context. So anyway, I kind of wanted to, just now that I have business skills, apply those skills to something new. And that's about it. And I also, I read a book. There was a book I read on side hustles that was also really inspiring. I would definitely recommend picking it up, but it's called 100 Side Hustles or something like that. And just about all the entrepreneurs who have these incredible success stories, just pursuing things, outside of their work hours, that they could, just eventually turn into some of them actually eventually turn these into, 6-7 figure a year revenue businesses.
I didn't know that. That's cool. I love that. I love that idea. I think I'm going to talk about that in the blog post too, about the 100 side hustles and how that inspired you, because that could be so interesting to so many people. And you have the potential to do that with your business. I definitely believe it. If you think about what you did with Mile High Club. I mean, if you could do that, this thing is going to go, it's going to be knocked out of the park. No doubt.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Well,
yeah,
I think it takes the pressure off. If you think of something as like a side hustle, obviously you want to be serious about it. You want to pursue it with strategy and have an intention. But if you're thinking about it as sort of like, this could work and not work, it kind of takes the pressure off.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe have a little more fun with it.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing, I always advise people that are starting a business is to make sure they have some kind of an other income at the same time. It doesn't have to be like a major job, but something else, so you're not so, like you said, it takes the edge. It takes the edge off. Like, there's too much stress and pressure about bills. And these young women that are graduating from college and they want to start a business, I say go for it. But I also say, get something on the side, a waitressing job, something else, so that you're not starving.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, from your perspective, what's your best advice for young women graduating and going into business or they're artists or whatever? Like, what's your big sexy advice for these people?
I would say, I think staying positive as an entrepreneur is really important, because you're going to face obstacles along the way, and it's your belief and your drive that will get you there. But you have to believe in yourself. And I would also say, don't be afraid of failure, because what is the saying? I think a basketball player said this: you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Wayne Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky, hockey player.
Yes. Oh, right. It's a hockey player. Yes.
Yep. You're an artist. That's okay. You don't have to know that. You know the quote. That's the most important thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. I love that. In your case, does it feel really different in an art, when you're doing the work of art versus the work of fitness? Does it have a different feeling for you? Does it invigorate you differently, or is it all just the same kind of passion that runs through your blood?
Well, it's familiar, and I take great, when I see a piece finished, like it, makes me really happy, and it's like creating something. But I think they're coming from the same place. Like the Mile High was a creation; it was something I created, and when I'm doing the Bold Rose, it's still very creative, and so I think it's all just creativity. It's just different kinds of creativity, and I feel lucky in that I've been able to pursue things I'm passionate about. It's definitely not been the easy road. I would say, that comes with its own challenges. However, I think that the thing that I'm excited about is learning. And, if people in design or home design or whatever might look at my concept and say, oh, that's not going to work. Like, there's no way that can work. And, but, I feel like I want to find that out for myself. And I want to, this is mine, 100% mine. Unlike, the other business, I had partners and investors. So so I feel like I'm willing to take that risk, and I don't have anyone to answer to. So except for myself.
That's very empowering. Very empowering. I think that's really interesting, though. I mean, we're going to have to wrap up now, but I think I love leaving it on that note. Like, it's all coming from the same place, the creativity. You're creating those things. And so that's really, really interesting. And to think about, especially students and women that are like in the art field or creative fields, that they can start to think about in that way. They can think about business or whatever in that way. And it doesn't make it so uncomfortable. That's really awesome. So thank you for that. Cool.
Yes. You're welcome.
All right. What is the best way for our listeners to find you?
Oh, I guess LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a good place. It's just my name, Deborah Warner, and also Deborah at theboldrose.com. So
awesome. You got to check out The Bold Rose. All right. Okay, guys. Thank you, Deborah, so much for being with us again, for taking the time out to be with us and share your story. Amazing story. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Jeannie.
And Merry Christmas.
Oh, Merry Christmas to you as well.
Thank you. Yes, we will. All right. Good luck with everything. Okay, listeners. Deborah Warner, how about that? The boldest rose. She calls herself the bold rose. I call her the boldest rose because she is bold, going out there and doing these things, making these things happen. Thank you for joining us on the show. Have a wonderful holiday season. All the best in 2020. And we'll see you back here on the line. Don't forget about the group coaching program launching in February. Until then, go out there, slay those dragons. Peace and love.